Hello and welcome to the TechZero Python learning course. In this video, we're going to be covering the concept of scope. Now, what is scope? Scope refers to the region where a variable is available. And what that means is that where you create a variable is important. So we haven't covered functions yet, but we'll get to that eventually. But let's create one real quick. Let's say def myfunc. And in myfunc, we're going to create a variable x, and we're going to give it the value 5. We're going to print x out in here. And then out here, we're going to call myfunc. And we'll see that works. No problem. But if outside of the function we try to print x, we will get an error. The name x is not defined. X is only within the scope of our function here. Now, that is referred to as the local scope of this function. Any variable created within the function is only available within that function. Now, if we create a variable outside the function, and note that I'm doing it above the function call, we'll say y is equal to 10. And then in the function, we'll say x is equal to 5 plus y. We'll get 15. That is because y, being created outside of any function, is said to have global scope. Global variables can be accessed anywhere in the same program as long as they are defined above the place that they are used. So if I take this y and I move it down here, note that I'm putting it after the function call, we'll get an error. Name y is not defined. It's because we're trying to access it by calling the function before it's actually been assigned. If we place it above the function call and indent properly, we'll get our 15, as we expect. It's because y is being defined in the global scope, and then the function is being called, and the function will have access to y via the global scope. Now, if you want to create a global variable within a function, you can use the global keyword. Say global y, and then on the next line, y is equal to 11. Global y is declaring that y is now a global variable. We're going to remove this y here. We're also going to create a second function to demonstrate this. Make sure that the other function does have access to it like it should. And this one's just going to print y. So now we call myfunc. We call myfunc2. Myfunc2 prints 11 since it can see it, since we declared y global within our first function. While you can do this, it is not recommended. It's generally best practice to avoid using global variables whenever possible. Try to organize your code so variables are only needed where their scope already exists.